out, boy. Jerry Curl, mother. Oh, shit. This nigga tripping.
Ain't ready to put a hole in the motherfucker. Yeah. Alright.
I know you know, shut the fuck up.
Hey man, this what the
Yo,
police. Oh, scared like some bitch.
Motherfucker is a verb. See, I'm the first motherfucker on the block with the cheese. And I'm the last motherfucker that leave. See, my pockets ain't hurt, that's absurd. See, a broke motherfucker is a verb. See, I'm the first motherfucker on the block with the cheese. And I'm the last motherfucker that leave.
Years ago, back in 05, my right-hand man was telling me how the older dudes from around his way had put a lot of work in around the city. He told me about the armored trucks, about how they was running down on hustlers. I'm talking robbery, extortion, and even murder. The neighborhood they come from is 5th-N-O. Back in the days, the 5th-N-O crew name was ringing bells in the city. The story of 5th-N-O slightly tie into a few well-known hitters from back in the 80s and 90s. Sam Carson from the K Street crew, who was under Wayne Perry and had beef with someone. I read he had issues with a guy from 5th-N-O who might have took his AK that his girlfriend was supposedly holding for him. Also, rumor was guys from 5th-N-O shot Poe back in the day.
They was gonna try to kidnap me, and I wound up getting hit that day.
Which is a crazy coincidence because Demencio was taken out on Alpo's order at the Kennedy Rec Center, which wasn't far from 5th-N-O. Strong men came from 5th. Some of their known rivals in the area were Sursum Corda, and then you had 7th-N-O at one point. And like most strong hoods, they held their own. Bodies fell on both sides. According to the Washington Post, another rival, known at the time as the Leroy crew, based in the Shaw area, got into it with 5th-N-O on school grounds at Dunbar High School. An argument broke out on the first day of school between students from both hoods, Leroy and 5th-N-O. They had words in the hallway. A bunch of threats were made. Dude was like, "Nigga, I will kill you." It was on and popping from that point. Later on, a student named Leonard Cole, who was down with the Leroy crew, got into a stolen Jeep Cherokee with a few others. Then they drove onto the sidewalk near Dunbar, jumped out and let off shots in the direction of the crowd, wounding 2 bystanders as the students all scattered. 1 week later, that same guy from Leroy, Leonard Cole, better known as Stinker Man, was shot and killed in broad daylight while sitting in the car with 2 Dunbar students. The feds believed there was retaliation at the hands of 5th-N-O, which at the time, they linked 5th to more than 15 murders in the city. May of 1990, 4 or 5 guys from 5th-N-O made plans to rob a Brinks truck at the Dulles Airport in Virginia. All of the guys ranging in age from 18 to 21 made their way to Dulles about 6:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. At about 6:40, they made their way to the Federal Express Cargo Bay area armed and dangerous. They crept up on 2 Brinks guards, catching them off guard, quickly disarming them. They robbed the truck, snatching bags, and made off with more than $100,000 in cash, financial documents, and jewelry that valued at over $1 million. They left with them. It's a little trippy to think a group of basically kids or young adult males no older than 21 could successfully pull off a heist of that magnitude without killing anyone and escaping, making their way back around 5th. The report said that some of the guys gave some of the jewelry to their girlfriends, specifically some expensive diamond rings. The reason they were caught later was because of a getaway vehicle which was registered to the father of one of the guys that robbed the armored trucks. The feds found a vehicle which was ditched because it got stuck somewhere, and through further investigation, fingerprints, and the testimony of the guards, they were eventually able to link the crime to several of the guys from 5th-N-O. They were caught and taken off the streets. This was a big deal that made national news. And I can only imagine what the conversation around 5th was like. Cause you know, in the hood, man, you get the first hand with stuff like that. News travel fast, people gossip, and many of the guys from that era, along with those who were charged and convicted of the armored truck incidents, are home now. Their time in the streets may be done, but it don't stop there. In the hood, the next generation of killers, money makers, athletes, artists, and more are always right there with a football in their hand, playing tag, stealing from the corner store, chasing girls. As the older guys fall off from being killed or locked away in prison, the 9 and 10-year-olds eventually become teenagers, and the cycle continues. That's the hood. That's 5th-N-O. As we transitioned into the late 90s, early 2000s, it was the time of the 80s babies, in search of money and respect, and flat out living from day to day just getting by, like Scooter and Day Day, both from 5th-N-O. Both of their lives were cut short. It always seemed like the good guys are always the first to fall. I think about conversations I personally had with Scooter when he talked about taking music serious or going away to school out Cali. These guys were youngins, man, with little ones running around. Every so often I would get a call about another fallen soldier from 5th-N-O, like Sal and so many more. The offsprings of the crack era in the district. That's what they were. We a long way from the likes of Duke Ellington and all the early Southerners who made their way into the city. This ain't that. This is Wayne New Bonds, aka Lil New. Hollywood New.
I'll be in my zone. I can't even. I'm holding the damn book. I ain't used to hold no book. I realize this. They feel this shit. They feel this shit. Hollywood. I get cheese, so it's a need to envy me. Cold-blooded dog, women know me like they was fleas. Cuffy chick, man, keep that bitch on the leash, top down.
New was a 5th-N-O native who died in his sleep, gone too soon. One of the most talented people ever. Music, comedy. New had whatever you call someone with the it factor. He was high energy. You just liked him. He had music with another artist from 5th named Lump, who's also talented.
What they say, nigga? I got dough and I got hustle, I got pride. I got Texas, we got choppers, what's involved?
This is 5th-N-O. Good, bad, right, wrong, but I promise you 99% of the people just try and figure it out day by day. When I think about the crew that hit the armor truck, some of them probably got grandkids now. Some of them may be friends with guys in this video. Niggas done made it through some shit, man. To be alive and free is a blessing itself. Shout out to the whole 5th-N-O, man. All the fallen men, women, and children, the hardworking mothers and fathers, and all the good men behind that barbed wire fence. Stay up, and man, I see y'all on the next one. I will be doing a story on a man they call Lil Slush from Bury Farms, who deserves a video for creating a whole movement in DC that's still going on to this day after he was murdered. I got the blessings from his family, so I'm gonna make that happen, man. Stay tuned for that.
Scores. 5th-N-O. It's warming up, 5th-N-O. Z-Ride and Roro. Sule. What's up, Sue? Turn up.